Good day and welcome to the Prime Feed News. Different state departments and agencies in South Africa have concluded that, following a careful analysis, the country is dealing with a chemical agent that could be behind a series of food poisoning incidents that has rocked the country. Now, a team of experts have been deployed to identify this chemical agent as a matter of urgency. Earlier this month, among several incidents, were reported that the Limpopo Department of Education is investigating an incident of alleged food poisoning at Makalo Primary School in Malamulele. Provincial spokesperson, Matom Tawiatsawala said 22 learners were rushed to a nearby clinic when they started vomiting. Spokesperson for the National Department of Health, Foster Mohali said over the past few weeks, South Africa has been bedeviled by a strange phenomenon of a spate of food-related sudden illnesses and deaths, especially in schools. Those affected have concluded that these ailments are a result of food poisoning emanating from foodstuff, particularly snacks, sold by foreign-owned spaza shops. This has become the generally held view in the country, which prompted some people to take action based on this belief and understanding. These increasing incidents in black communities have led to an unfortunate and unsubstantiated perception that authorities are turning a blind eye to this crisis and seem not to care about what's happening to the citizens, said Mohali. Contrary to the widespread beliefs and perceptions, Mohali said various authorities and departments have been engaged in different actions to try unravel this mystery, particularly in the incident where children have died in Naledi, Soweto. The various interventions include SA Police Service detective working around the clock to identify the cause of death. The metros of Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni have deployed their environmental inspectors to investigate the cause of the sudden attacks.
Quite a robust conversation that has been had between the MEC and residents, but mostly from the residents' side, an emotional one. You've seen a lot of deep-seated frustration, anger, and I guess a lack of accountability that's coming from residents' side as to who they should hold responsible for the kind of issues that they've been seeing with non-compliant spaza shops in their community, but also the issue of undocumented foreign nationals who run these businesses and these operations. We are, as you've mentioned, at the Naledi Hall here in Soweto, where just last week Sunday the funeral service was held for the 5 children that passed away after allegedly eating these contaminated snacks. It was during these funeral proceedings that news broke of the 6th child who was fighting for his life in ICU passed away. And so from residents this side in Soweto, very different conversations from those in the Vaal, a lot of emotion. A lot of the time, the most common question that has been posed towards the MEC was, who else needs to die? How many more of our children should we see getting sick, dying or suffering from what is happening at some of these non-compliant spaza shops? I'm actually joined now by one of the residents, and we've been getting a sense as well from the community that this visit by the MEC has really struck another chord again in the community, has really woken up those feelings of mourning as well, and how serious this issue is in regards to the spaza shop. Thank you so much for your time, Mme.
Siwumphakathi waseSoweto sizizwa singaphathwanga kahle ugovernment wethu usi-abusile for years. Lama illegal immigrants ba-aware ngawo and mababa integrator into the community. Asazi ukuthi babethi bazokwenzani la phakathi kwethu, bazobulala abantwana bethu. Singcwaba abantwana every day because of ama-foreigners ney'phaza shop zawo. And our government knows very well, i-constitution yase-South Africa ithi ama-immigrants lawo are not supposed to be participating with economy yethu, njengama-spaza shops, ama-saloon, vegetables, and all the other businesses. As South Africans, we find ourselves compete nabo. Kuyizinto ekungamelanga ngabe sikhompyutha nabo, because the constitution is very clear ukuthi they must invest 5 million. Ispaza shop cannot be 5 million investment. So the government must implement what is in the constitution. They even failed ukuthi makutholakala labantwana beshona ngale poison bakhiphe an announcement ukuthi bayazivala zonke ipaza shop until further notice. These foreigners were just operating as usual. Basikhiphela ibhamu emalokishini, we can't complain. If we complain, we are xenophobic. Kanti where must we cry as citizens of this country mangabe sizohlukunyezwa ama-foreigner kangaka? And the speculation esinayo as South Africans is this. These people are not only operating amaspaza shops, they have ammunitions with amaspaza shops up. So it's possible they are here to take the country. And one day when they take the country, sizobe simangele. How is it possible ukuthi in one street you can have amaspaza shops 4 to 5? What is it that they are selling engaka? that we as South Africans, we can't operate. Sinabantu bethu, South Africans have been operating e-paza shops for years. They are still operating under difficult conditions zokuthi compete with these people abathengisa poisonous food to our children. We are tired of burying our children. How many children must die before our government listens to us esibavotela? In 1994, we didn't know ukuthi masibavotela we are bringing death into our community. Sicindezelekile as South Africans. We can't speak. If you speak, you are xenophobic.
And Mayor, I just want to get a sense from you. The MEC was speaking about revitalizing and changing the township economy here in Soweto. Do you think this is what residents need to hear, or is perhaps the Gauteng government not dealing with the pressing and stemming issue in Soweto at the moment?
They are not dealing with what they are supposed to be dealing with. Okokuqala, they must take these people out of Soweto. We don't need these many spaza shops. We have our own people, abaranama spaza shops. And they can take abantu unemployed and put them in those spaza shops. Baba fund. They could do it in COVID, but later funding to the people. It was quick to support our businesses. Why is it difficult to go to value zonke spaza shop as we speak? Why are they still operating when our children died? Ama spaza shop ala lady, these foreigners, they took his stock to Protea Clan. Now it means abantwana base Protea Clan, we must expect ukuthi bangashona anytime, because the government implement what it's supposed to be implementing. Why are they nursing these foreigners? Basabani or sebathathe imali bathembisiwe i-citizenship. I-government yethu ye-ANC yiyo le esifake in this mess, because they should have implemented njengoba i-constitution isho ukuthi mabangathengisi. But every time funeka sikhale emva kwendaba. We are tired of talk shows ezifana nale elethwe la u-MEC. We are tired. We've been complaining for years and years and years. Every time they come, they listen to us, they don't implement.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time, Mekia Leboaholo. That was one of the residents there speaking about their reaction essentially to the MEC's visit to the community, labeling it in fact, Vuyo, as you heard there, as a talk show. And you'd understand that MEC Lebogang Maile is here from a provincial sense of point, but on as an economic development MEC. And really for this community, they've been saying they've been having conversations about what needs to happen in terms to develop the economy, the township economy of Soweto, and they're saying that this has fallen onto deaf ears. And in fact, one of the residents who was speaking said that they were hoping the MEC would be here to in fact provide feedback, to provide how they have implemented plans that they've spoken about, and saying that it's almost becoming like a record, like a tune, in terms of what they have been requesting from the government, in terms of them supporting their local businesses, especially those that are owned by locals, saying that there is so many red tapes that they have to jump through and various hoops. But when it comes to these spaza shops that are mushrooming, as you heard from this resident, it's often overlooked by the government, it's often overlooked by inspectors, and of course continues to be an issue and a plague within the community. But also, Vuyo, definitely a sense here from the community that what had happened here earlier this month in Naledi with the 6 children that passed is still deeply, a very deep wound that many still feel like they needed to be addressed accurately. In fact, some even accusing the MEC of being overreacting in terms of what had happened, and saying that these are conversations that they've had before and there's been no implementation. Also, they're hearing some of the speculation from the residents saying that they even believe that the vast amount of the spaza shops in this community could in fact signal something far worse for the residents.